What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. It's Tottenham 1, MK Dons 0 in the pre-season opener at Hotspur Way. It started off with an absolute bang, didn't it? 3 minutes in, the goalkeeper punches it out and Matheus Fernandes on the volley hits it as sweet as you like, rifling it into the top corner. It kind of was all downhill from there, to be fair. But, yeah, I mean, the main talking point is that goal. How amazing was that goal, Brian?
Sensational. Sensational for to have the confidence in yourself, even pre-season friendly, to attempt that kind of shot in your first game in the Spurs shirt, regardless of the setting, and to pull it off with such precision was a thing of pure beauty, and hopefully a sign, just a little taster of what's to come from Matheus Fernandes.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I really liked what I saw in the first half. Obviously, the first half was mainly the first team players, and then they brought on a host of under-21 players alongside Richarlison and Dubravka for the second half. So in the first half, we had Kinski in goal. We had Kai Maratin at left back, we had Archie Gray at right back, we had Kota Takai and Ben Davies at centre back, and then in midfield you had Sandro Tonali, Matheus Fernandes and Conor Gallagher. Then up front was Solanke, and on the wings you had Manuel Solomon and Mathys Tel. And yeah, I think there was quite a bit to look at in the first half. Second half was a bit of a different story. But who really impressed? Who was the most impressive for you in the first?
Do you know what I'm going to say? I will say the left back Rio, and he's the only one that played the full 90. Yeah. I think what I saw from him was impressive, and yes, the settings and the quality of the opposition, but really enjoyed watching him, especially in that first half with that understanding with Tel and the overlapping. I think Archie Gray, a right back, asked to play in out of position, or a position he's used to, but not where we see him. And Joe Takai on the ball looked in control. Again, this is all first game of the season, and this was the first sight of him. And he looked composed, he looked comfortable. Obviously against tougher position, it may be different, but it was good to see him.
Yeah, what you've got to say about that first half is that they all did look very comfortable on the ball, trying to attack, trying to play through the lines, play the ball forward at every opportunity that they can. I was very impressed with a lot of players in the first half. Kota Takai, very calm in possession, kept things simple. I thought Archie Gray was heavily involved in a lot of things, potentially going forward as well as the other way. Tonali, he made one worldie of a pass down round the side to Mathys Tel, and Matheus Fernandes as well looked handy. He did lose the ball on a couple of occasions, but you know, when they were losing the ball, it was because they were trying things, and they weren't trying to be too safe, and they were trying to move the ball forward. Mathys Tel and Manuel Solomon were probably the two most dangerous players for Spurs offensively, both of them having moments on the flanks. But again, like, chances were hard to come by, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean, what we'll say about Tel and Solomon is like we kind of saw last season, obviously not with Solomon, he was out on loan, but the wingers had opportunities and had space and got into good positions, but then the final ball, when needed, was not to standard. They were both very busy and very open to receiving the ball and getting forward, but when the final ball was needed and some kind of quality delivery, I mean, Mathys Tel did do that one that Solanke should have finished, and then we got the corner for the goal. But I think it highlighted how much wingers are a priority right now. I will say what with Tonali and Fernandes, as we said during the game, there was one moment with Fernandes where he just read the break by MK Dons, screened the pass, got it, and just played it out. And Tonali just looked so composed. There's no panic. Again, we know it's just the opposition in first game, but where we've seen players under so much pressure and rushed and playing a backwards pass or losing possession, it was just like he had a force field around him and no one was coming near him. He'd wait, and when that ball was available, he just played it with ease. So getting back to the wingers, got into the right positions, but struggled with the delivery.
Yeah, yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, look, what I would say is it wasn't the greatest watch, and I think that chances were hard to come by, but I think you saw an element of what De Zerbi's trying to do with the team, and you've seen somewhat what the game plan is. Pressing high from the front, and trying to play through the lines and stuff. Very different to what we saw under Thomas Frank in pre-season last year. I wouldn't liken it exactly the same, because I think you saw it more evident in Ange's versus pre-season, where it was just like we were able to create chances at will, but we conceded chances at will. But I think you saw elements today of, the nucleus of what you're going to see in the De Zerbi team for next season.
Yeah, and I think the key reasons why Tonali and Fernandes are here, they're two people that like to get the ball and they see forward. They want to go forward. We could see how they were trying to work it, the fullback can overlap and they can play that through ball between fullback and defender. And we tried that over and over again. So you could see it is, as soon as we get the ball, let's get it forward as quickly as we can and try to play front foot football. So you could see what they have been working on in the training ground. And how long they've been there now? Like a week and a half, 2 weeks?
Yeah, something like that,
So there's a lot to process, a lot to digest. Obviously, he's going to completely rip up last season's 7-game style of football, and it will be a brand new style of football. And you could see patches of what that has in store for us.
Yeah. In terms of the first set of players, I guess the majority of them, I mean, not Kota Takai, Manuel Solomon, the guys that are maybe not assured in the squad next season. Did you see anything from them to suggest that maybe they could be?
Oh, not really. I mean, if Tell stays, and by the looks of it, we see that he's just done that video for the record women's transfer. He's been heavily involved in media stuff that it looks like, whether fans like it or not, that De Zerbi may want to keep him and see what he can do with him. I've said since we went to that Wolves game, that horror show before the Europa League final, Tell's movement is actually incredible. When you see him off the ball and the cameras aren't picking it up, we just weren't finding him, and we saw the end product needs working. So Tell may be there. I think again, you and I are fans of Archie Gray. He causes very, very split opinions.
Yeah.
Again, he was solid. He always seems to do a job. It's a big season for him. As for the rest that are on the fringes, not really.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's always hard to draw any sort of conclusions or have any strong opinions after the first game of pre-season, or even after any games of pre-season. The reality is it's just a fitness regime. So I think it's important not to, be too harsh or even give them too much praise after some pre-season games, particularly against like opposition like MK Dons. It's just nice to see the boys back on the pitch at the end of the day. That's what it is. And we were spoilt with a absolute wonder of a goal 3 minutes in, and then it was like not much goal mouth action after that. Conor Gallagher was doing a lot of pressing, and he probably should have scored along with Dominic Solanke. But in the second half, it was a much changed team. More or less all the kids. Richarlison came up top, and Dubravka was in goal, and the rest of the team was filled with under-21 players. I mean, Richarlison didn't really look at the races, to be honest. Dubravka made a couple of good saves. But it was polar opposites, wasn't it? Because the first half, it was all Spurs kind of in the ascendancy and having possession. And in the second half, it was kind of like MK Dons pushing us back and creating chances. But we did have a few chances of our own, didn't we? Yang Min-hyuk missing probably was one of the worst misses I've ever seen in a Spurs shirt. It was an unbelievable ball from Luca Williams-Barnett to find Yang Min-hyuk. Great touch past the keeper. He's got the whole goal gaping at him, and he just slices it wide. I mean, I don't remember too many misses worse than that.
All I will say, for people that may not have seen it and are waiting to see the highlights, if you just remember Fernando Torres for Chelsea against Manchester United, when he took the goalkeeper on and he had the whole goal, it was a really poor miss. A great ball from Williams-Barnett that split the defence. Yamin Hyuk done all the hard stuff.
Yeah.
and it was just that finish. But what I think we saw in the second half wasn't, obviously it was a lot of the youngsters, so we know there's going to be a drop in standards. But not only were we not so good on the ball, we gave the ball away so sloppily.
Yeah.
It wasn't that MK Dons put their foot on the gas and we were sloppy, and a few hospital balls and a few loose balls or a lack of concentration, but thankfully a clean sheet.
Yeah, I don't know how, but it was a clean sheet. I think the standout players for me in the second half, you got to look at Rio. I think kept up his performance from the first half into the second half. I thought Malachi Hardy at centre back was phenomenal. At right back, you're looking at Ty Hall. He went on some really good run down that side, but looked very strong throughout that second half. Wasn't so impressed with Jamie Donnelly and Yang Min Hyuk, to be honest. I wasn't impressed with Richarlison. Mikey Moore had a few moments, but he should have done better with the chances that got presented to him, in my opinion. I guess the real standout performer in that second half was Luca Williams-Barnett. I mean, his ability to get on the ball and take on a man and just make stuff happen, I thought was phenomenal.
I mean, just looking at the second half lineup as well, I can't remember. I mean, was Dane Scarlett on that pitch? Was that an error and it was someone else?
No, he was there. I saw him, but he didn't do much, I
can't remember seeing him, talking about him, you in commentary saying Scarlett on the ball, whatever. But Luca Williams-Barnett came on, and just when there was pressure and we couldn't get rid of the ball and it was hard to break the lines, he was the one player that was showing drive. He was the one person that was showing a desire to get the ball forward and break. Obviously, a couple of the runs that he went on were cut off and had no end product, but he was the one trying to get us up that pitch, and he will get a pat on the back from De Zerbi.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of times where he just held on to the ball for a bit too long and then ended up losing it. But you could see the quality that this guy has. You could really see it. I mean, he was the best player on the park, in my opinion, in that second half, hands down. And he was probably the youngest player on the park as well, at 17 years of age. To be able to just glide and drift past players made it look easy. And he also had some unbelievable kind of long-range passes. That one for Yang Min Hyuk was bang on the money. He was fantastic, Luca Williams-Barnett. So I think De Zerbi would have been very happy with what he saw from him. I said it to you on the watch long, but I felt like he's got a bit of a Del Tarab vibe about him. Not the bad side of El Tarab, the good side, where he could also just glide past players in a similar kind of fashion that Luca did today.
Well, if we have the offensive side of Adel Tarab in him, we are in for a very, very exciting time. That's for damn sure. I think obviously there's been a lot of hype around him, like there was Mikey Moore, banging the goals at youth level. Made a couple of appearances off the bench last season, didn't he? Just very few minutes.
I think one.
Was it just the one? I'm sure
against,
it was one.
I think it was one against Doncaster, yeah.
So, no, I'm sure he made one near the end of the season as well. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe.
But obviously, out of the youngsters like your Jamie Donnellys and your Mikey Moores, where they've gone out on loans, had good. Obviously, Donnelly not the season now, the season at Orient. They've had loans that have worked out well. And you'd be like, okay, let's see what these loans have taught you. And Donnelly, who's had the big endorsement from De Zerbi, and it was Luca Williams-Barnett that outshone them.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. He's such an exciting player to watch because he gets on the ball and you're thinking something's going to happen. And more or less it did every time he was on the ball. Jamie Donnelly, though, you're looking at it, obviously we spoke about it before about, Roberto De Zerbi being impressed with him in training. He needs to have a big pre-season if he's going to play some sort of impact this season. I felt like he just lost the ball way too cheaply the majority of times that he got it.
I agree with you. And you look at it, we were talking, I think, when we did an update or anything, when we were talking about him, De Zerbi's words, it was like, with Maddison coming back from a big injury and getting a pre-season, obviously he weren't there today, we don't know why. Kulu, as we said in the live earlier, they're saying first half of the season, Xavi Simons out. We're going to need that kind of forward player, and he has the ability to do it. and he had a chance to shine. And obviously, he's played against teams like MK Don, and he's absolutely shone through. And today, whether it's ring rust, I can't remember how bad his injury was at the end of the season from Oxford, and if it's still niggling him, but we need to see a little bit more improvement from that if he's going to command a part of De Zerbi's squad in the Premier League moving forward.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. But any concerns about, because there's been no word of why Maddison wasn't there, why Destiny wasn't there. Obviously, we know that Van Hecke, Van de Ven, Robertson only come back in the last 24 hours, so that's kind of explainable. Kudus, we know that he might, still be struggling with that injury he's got. But Maddison and Destiny, I was quite surprised that they weren't there today.
I think the way to look at this, or the way I'm going to try and look at this, is maybe they've said, listen, you're going on the tour. You've come off injuries. There's no need for you to come and show what you got here. Obviously, Tonali and Fernandez, it was like, right, your first game, let's get that underway. Maybe he said to them, right, you're not needed this game. On tour, you'll be playing, getting minutes. That's the logic I'm going to try and use, because I don't want to think, oh, he's had a pull, he's had a niggle, he's had a this. So maybe De Zerbi will say something about it in the press conference, or the interviews they do for Spurs TV and Spurs YouTube and everything, and we'll get some more insight, or we'll hopefully see them on Sunday when we start off is it Australia or New Zealand our first?
New Zealand, yeah.
So maybe we'll see them in New Zealand starting.
Yeah, let's hope so. But look, not a lot to write home about. Nice to see the boys back in action today. I thought, some nice crisp passing, some nice possession and stuff like that, but still goals and chances still hard to come by in the 90 minutes of football. So yeah, look, we'll see what happens, guys, but that is your post-match reaction. Tottenham 1, MK Dons 0 in the pre-season opener. It's good to have Tottenham back. And Brian, big up to you, mate. Thank you for coming on today. And
my pleasure, brother. Like I said to you, I would have loved to do the fan show with you, but I've been awake since 9 p.m. yesterday. I'm normally falling asleep now, ready for work. I am dropping, so I am going to watch the fan show. It's been great spending the morning/afternoon with you and the We Are Tottenham TV audience. Thank you to all that have helped us, my channel, Tottenham on Tour, get to 11k. Ben, always a pleasure. Sammy, always a pleasure. And come on, you Spurs.
Big up, Daigle. We'll speak to you soon, mate.
See you soon.
All right, let's keep moving. Who have we got coming on first? George. We have got George. George, how's it going, mate? Long time no see. Got that fresh smile on. De Zerbi, new season, pre-season. How are we doing?
First of all, big up. It's been too long.
Way too long.
Too much work. Focus is fully on Spurs now. I'm excited for this season. I went into the first game today thinking something I thought under Frank, and I was like, God, it feels completely different thinking this under De Zerbi, and that was no matter what players he takes with him on the tour, I have full trust in him.
Yeah.
I said that about Frank, and I kind of had a niggling feeling at the back of my head. This time, I'm all in.
Yeah, all in, man. All aboard the De Zerbi Express, man. Let's go.
Exactly.
But look,
as it's been said by Brian, chew motherfucking chew.
Exactly. But look, we got the first sighting of pre-season, De Zerbi ball and all. Any takeaways from you?
I think you guys summed that up pretty damn well. It's pre-season. It's not going to be stupidly exciting football or anything like that. The first thing I've got that I wanted to say was, and I've got this in capitals on my phone, it's Tonali is huge, as you said.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Like he looked like a giant on that pitch. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the quality of the stream and the white shirt against the black shirts, but he looked enormous, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe it because you see him on TV playing for Newcastle. He looks kind of small, doesn't he? And then you saw him on this. He's just like, wow, is he just really bulked up? Has De Zerbi got in his ear and been like, you got to get in the gym, mate. You're coming to Tottenham now. I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see Kudus. It would have been interesting to see how big Kudus would have looked, because I think he would have looked even bigger.
But I tell you what, like, I've seen Kudus in the gym in the stuff that Spurs have put out, and he looks like a lot bigger than what he was, you know. So I don't know. Maybe De Zerbi's got them all bulking up in the gym.
Maybe. Well, when it comes to Xavi, I know he's injured, but let's hope that whilst he can't use his legs, he's doing some sat down like chest presses and shoulder presses and whatnot, because that's his biggest failing, isn't it? But yeah, as Sim said when you were doing your review on that, he's always had muscles, but not like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not like that. Like,
I know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, it's a shame that the game kind of didn't go on as it started, because what the hell was that in the 3rd minute from Mateus Fernandes?
What a goal. What a goal. And it was in off the post as you thought it might have been. It definitely was in off the post. I hope that's not the best goal we see of him this season. I don't think it will be. I think we might see that exact goal, carbon copy. Maybe even against like Newcastle or something in the first couple of weeks. I've got that feeling, you know. I got that excited feeling. I can't wait.
Maybe against West Ham in the cup.
Mate, can you imagine? Can you imagine? I got that feeling like at the end of last season that midfield was really important for us, and we could see when we played well. I even said it on a couple of the post-match fan shows in the end of the season. When we played well, it was because our midfield was really, really performing well. But when we weren't, is when we were trying to pass down the wings or bypass midfield, or the midfielders just weren't on their game. I had a lot of faith in the midfield last season. I thought they were our best part, but even more so. I've seen 45 minutes of those two together, and it's just exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a different level. It's a completely different level to what we're used to seeing. That's the reality. Yeah. But, I mean, it's hard to make sweeping judgments from 45 minutes against MK Dons in the first pre-season, but still, like, chances and goals hard to come by.
Yeah. And there was a comment whilst you were doing that review just now that completely summed it up so well. Is that our back line is solid, our midfield is sorted, but our front line still needs work. I mean, Tell was putting in a lot of good balls, and I really thought Manor Solomon was very impressive.
Yeah.
But he showed that, Solomon especially showed that for me in pre-season last season as well. They can be really good, but it's this like keeping it sustained and seeing it to a certain level. Against MK Dons is one thing, but doing it against Arsenal, Man United, Man City, that's where I don't think he's quite got it. I'd like to keep him. I'd like to keep developing him. He's still very young, isn't he? Yeah. So, and Tell, they're both very young.
I think Manor's about 26 or something.
Is he? I thought he was like 24.
Okay. Well, I think he's around 26 now.
I bow down to
Mate,
your
you might be right, actually. You might be right. I might be just plucking something. Let's have a look.
I have a feeling you're probably right.
26, he's 26,
yeah. When it comes to ages, you're usually pretty spot on. I don't know. I don't think he's good enough to be a starter. I've said that since he's joined the club, really. But I think he's good enough to have on the bench, bring on cup games that he's good enough to start in my opinion. I think there's a lot of other players that we need to bring in and focus on, like Richie and Solanke. I don't think we can rely on them, just them two. I want to see one brought in on top of them, or if we sell Richie, I want to see two new strikers brought in. One of like proper top quality level, one of like fighting for starter sort of level if we sell Richie as well. As you said again during the game, Solanke was really, really impressive when he was under Ange, holding the ball up, playing that hold-up play. I think a lot of that was probably down to he was the first big signing we brought in to compete with Richie, and that's what we were expecting Richie to do. And anytime Richie got the ball, he'd let it bounce off of him, whereas Solanke actually held it up. So I think that was almost like a false... he was good at it, but I think we could get a lot better than him. So I think that's a big thing we need to focus on.
But I mean, it's no real surprise where we look okay up until the final third, but that's where we need players, right? That's where we all know we need a minimum of probably 3 players to come in from now until the end of the transfer window. And De Zerbi said it in his interview, we're not done yet. The squad's not complete. And that's what he's talking about, bringing in players in that forward line. So exciting times ahead, thinking about who we can bring in. But thinking about the first half, who was the most impressive player for you?
I can't get the goal out of my head.
Yeah.
Like it was out of nothing. The keeper punched it away, and then yeah, they were just slow to come out. So that was impressive. It was a good start, but um, the first half for me, I think Solomon was pretty impressive, constantly taking on his man, constantly getting past him. The only thing that I didn't like about that was he was still very like Frank Ball-esque instead of whipping the ball in. It's the same thing that Kula used to stress me out on. He always used to
Yeah.
go on the same foot.
Yeah.
Solomon was doing the same thing. He'd always cut back and pass it infield. Um, but he was very impressive and tells balls into the box. They were good. Again, they were the most impressive for me based on the standards I'd set for them, but we can still do better.
Then moving on to the second half, obviously it was like the Luca Williams Barnett show, really. There was a few players that did well, but I mean, seeing him get on the ball and what he can do with it, it's a special player, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%. It was his half, wasn't it? Really, let's be honest. Like when you've got a player like him running at you through the midfield, how some of those marauding runs were doing. Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome to see. I was very disappointed in Richie in that second half. He didn't look out of place. He looked like he was at level, and I think that maybe made Luca look a little bit better, maybe. But it was a weird second half, wasn't it? I started falling asleep at one point.
I don't blame you, mate. I don't blame you at all. I mean, there was not much in there in the second half. We were talking about Williams Barnett. There was a few good players in the back line. But in terms of going forward, there was, I mean, Mikey got in some good positions, but should have done a bit better. Scarlett.
Mikey looked rusty.
Yeah.
For me, Mikey looked rusty. Dane Scarlett, I forgot was even playing.
Yeah.
The ball was just not going out on the wing. And Yang was, I think the least said the better on him.
I have to ask you about that miss. What?
Yeah.
Was that one of the worst misses you've ever seen? Like, I don't understand how he's missed it.
Yeah, my granddad could have got his Zimmer frame and put that ball in the net. Like
my 2-year-old son could have finished that.
Yeah, with like decent, like at least put it in the corner as well. That's the thing. Like it was a wide open goal. How are you missing that?
Yeah.
He must have slipped or something. Must have.
Completely.
And if he didn't, then he's got to go. Like just off that one shot, he's got to go.
Yeah. Well,
Crazy,
yeah. Look, there's not too much to talk about in the second half apart from Williams Barnett. But any of those players in the second half, do you think will be on the plane?
I'd like to see Mikey. I've always thought highly of him. I wanna see him mix it up with the first team, like the starters, with a bit more of a midfield where he's getting a bit more service, where he's not having to get the ball and run with the ball. Who else? The defenders were pretty good, apart from, as Brian said, the one corner where they actually scored from that was disallowed for the push. I thought the two centre backs were pretty good. They were nice and calm on the ball.
Yeah.
Who was it? It was Ty Hall and someone else.
Well, Ty Hall, I think, played right back. He had Hardy and Byrne, or however you Burn, I think you pronounce it, centre back. Yeah.
Yeah. So was it? I think it might have been Ty Hall that did a couple of runs forward.
Yeah. Yeah, it was him,
But it could be. Yeah. Yeah, so he for me was the best out of the defensive line, and I think he deserved at least a second look. Luca Williams Barnett has to. I'm fearful that Jamie Donnelly might not go based on that. He did lose the ball in a lot of dangerous areas quite often. He's a better footballer than he showed today, basically, in my opinion. So I'd like to see him go, but I'm worried he won't.
Yeah, it's an interesting one with him because obviously we've heard that De Zerbi's been impressed with him in training. So after that, I don't know, do you reckon that will have an impact on De Zerbi's opinion after seeing what he's done in training?
I mean, De Zerbi's going to be seeing him every single day. So I think it might have just put like a slight question mark in his head, but I'm hoping, and I don't think it will. I don't think he's the type of manager like, for example, Conte or Mourinho, where you see one performance like that and that's it.
Yeah.
I think he's the type of manager who will trust in players like Jamie Donnelly to go, he's young, he had his opportunity, didn't go quite how he wanted to, but he can have more opportunities, try and prove himself over a longer period of time. And I think he's earned that throughout what we've seen the past however long.
Yeah.
As I said, Luke Williams, Barnett. For me, Dane Scarlett's got to go because we have to have three strikers going. I can't see it just being Richie and Solanke.
Yeah.
Mikey has to go. I think that's it. Maybe Malachi. But yeah.
All right. Well,
for me, that's probably it.
Good to see you back, George. Good to see Spurs back. And hopefully I'll see you a lot more over the summer, mate.
100%, man. 100%. Catch you in a bit. Cheers for having us on.
Big up to you, George. Speak to you in a bit. Come on,
Go
you
on,
Spurs.
you Spurs.
All right, we're going up to Stel next. Let's get Stel on. Stelios! How you doing, mate? I can't hear him.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Seeing Spurs back on the pitch, back to winning ways. An unbelievable goal from Mateus Fernandes. Talk me through what you thought of the game today.
Spurs are back.
Back frustrating the life out of us, not creating a chance.
Yeah, you can't take anything away from pre-season.
Yeah.
Especially MK. We're just happy to see our players playing football.
Have you got a mic? Can you move a bit closer to your mic? You're a bit quiet.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard to judge anything pre-season because the players that played today aren't going to be the players that played the first game. The opposition isn't the opposition we're going to play. The fact we're playing on a training pitch, not even in a stadium, just tells you what it is. But there was some really, really good bits. There were some not so good bits. And there were some bits that just not anger me, but disappoint me, but in a good way, not in a negative, bad way. So the good bits were, look, Tonali looks like a we got a proper football player in midfield.
I mean, did
right?
you realise how big he was? I didn't realise how big he was till I saw him today.
No, I didn't realise he was that big either. I didn't realise he's a specimen, as they say. He's got stature. I think he's going to be an excellent signing for Tottenham Hotspur. Him and Fernandes, they looked quite comfortable playing next to each other as well, which was good to see. Fernandes' goal was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, just ridiculous. Like, first time volley, bang, in off the post. I mean, that's Ballon d'Or kind of goal.
I know,
So,
and he had the opportunity to do it like a few minutes later as well, and then he just turned away, and I was like, come on, man, go for the double.
yeah, exactly. Well, we just get another one. That was good to see. I think Kinski looked super comfortable on the ball at the back, even when being pressed. Had no hesitation passing it across his goal line, in tight areas where the pressure's on. Yeah, just played it, looked comfortable. And I think where a lot of fans are a bit upset that we didn't buy a new goalie, I think Kinski's the exact type of goalie that you want playing De Zerbi ball. And I think he's going to prove a lot of fans wrong next season. He's going to have his moments, every goalie does. But I think come the end of the season, he's going to be a goalkeeper that we look to build with, not replace.
I agree.
I was really happy with how he played today. And they were the big positives for me. The bits I didn't like is that I just don't think I'm ever going to be sold on Richarlison, Solanke and Tell. I just think they're just bang average football players.
I'd say, do you not think Tell looked the most dangerous out of our attacking line in the first half? Because there was a couple of times he was able to burn his fullback on the outside and get a decent ball in.
Do you know what it is? Unless he puts the ball in the back of the net and unless he consistently finds a killer pass, in the second half, that unbelievable killer pass Barnett put through to Richie and then Richie hit the ball at the goalie, right? You never see Tell do that.
Yeah.
You never see Tell put a ball like that's what we need at the level we want to be at. So Tell for me always just disappoints me. Solanke's just going to be that guy that never really does anything, but does something, but never ever is going to be the striker that we need. And Richie just sucks. He's just awful. He's just
he looked at his level today. He didn't look out of place in that second half with the players around him.
He's on the ground eating the grass half the game. You know, we might as well call him the lawnmower, not the pigeon, the lawnmower. So I don't think there's a Spurs fan out there that would say we don't need to sign new attackers. Like we desperately need goal scorers, like 2 or 3 goal scorers, and then we can start cooking. What disappointed me, but not in a bad way, is I thought.
How'd you get disappointed in a good way?
Yeah, I know. Only I can find it. Right? Only I can find it.
Only you, Stel.
Only me. So I was listening to your conversation with the guy before, and I disagree. I thought second half we were better. I thought first half we looked more controlled, but second half we created more bigger chances. We were better on the attack. I thought we looked more skillful. In the first half, we got to the final third and we ran out of ideas. Second half, we looked like we could find those intricate passes in between the lines, and Yang should have scored, Richarlison should have scored, Mikey Moore blazing over the bar. And I thought, do you know what? We've got some good young football players at this club.
But Stel, what I would say to that though is I think like in the first half, MK Dons were very much camped into their own half, and it was like a low block kind of thing. In the second half, they gave us a lot more space, and there was a lot more gaps for us to play in.
But there were still chances in the first half where we got the ball out wide and we just didn't penetrate down the line. We kept coming back, doing the U-shaped football, switch left, switch right. Whereas today, every time Mikey Moore got the ball, right, I'm going to cut inside, beat the man, and I'm not going to go sideways. I'm going to drive forward and find a pass. Williams Barnett, head up, killer pass. And I just thought that's what we need. And even at the back, listen, I've never seen him play before like a whole game. That Hardy looks like the exact type of centre-back that should be in the first team as the 4th choice centre-back that we develop next to Senesi, next to Van der Ven, next to Van Heck. Let him learn from better players, because he looks like he's got the makings of a good modern-day centre-half. So I look at Hardy, I look at Moore, I look at Barnett, and I think, you know what? There is no doubt in my mind, and I've done a lot of youth football coaching, there's no doubt in my mind, these players have got the ability to become something very good. They just need a proper, genuine chance. And this is what disappoints me. They're not going to get it at Tottenham, Ben.
I knew we were going to go down this route today.
Yeah, but look at that second half, those youngsters. Like, you look at it and you think, you know what? They were good. They were good.
But they're also very, very young. Hardy's 18, Luca Williams Barnett 17, Mikey Moore 18. Yeah. Very, very young players.
And they're only going to get better by learning from players of a high level. Like,
how many of them can you integrate at one time?
It's not about integrating them. It's about having them amongst the first team, training with them, playing with them, getting some minutes here and there, and then see if they can break in. And that's the only way you're going to know. But because we don't do that with any youngsters, I think
a lot of them do train with the first team.
I'm talking about throughout the whole season being with them. They're not. They don't. There's a separation. They at all academies nowadays, they separate the under-21s, under-18s from the first team in training, which is, in my opinion, wrong. But the point I'm trying to make is I've got nothing against us signing good players, Ben, like the finished article, Van Hex, Senesi's, Tonali's. I've got no issue with it because we're not going to get better unless we do that. But what I don't want is for Spurs to go down the road of, we're still going to sign some youngsters, but at the detriment of academy kids that are showing they can do it. Because I think we are becoming Chelsea in terms of the academy isn't about developing players for the first team. It's just an extension of the business to sell players and make money. And I think that's what it's becoming.
But I think it needs to be a mixture of both, though. You've got to be able to sell when you can if you don't think they're going to make it. But then you've got to have the gems in there as well that you can bleed through.
But we don't do it, you see, Ben.
No, I get that. I get that.
That's the bit we don't do. That's why I'm disappointed, because I was so happy to see the youngsters play 1-2 touch football, playing those killer passes, actually giving it a go. And like, I thought, you know what, this isn't too bad. I so enjoyed watching it. I'm disappointed that I'm never going to see them do it for Tottenham Hotspur. That's the bit that just kind of, bothers me. But in the grand scheme of things, if we go and win an FA Cup, or we go and win a Premier League in 3-4 years' time, without any of the academy kids, no one's going to give a shit. No one's going to care anyway. So,
do you think seeing Luca Williams-Barnett today? I mean, he looked like he has some mad talent. Luca Williams, like that ball over the top. You talk about the one for Richarlison. What about the one for Yang Min-hyuk when he misses that effort? I mean, it was phenomenal.
Ben, I'm so tired of fans saying our academy is shit. Our academy players are shit. I'm so tired of hearing fans that don't understand youth football, player pathways, youth development. It's not a simple crap, good, crap. It doesn't work like that. Barnett is a talent, but he will never be that player unless he's given proper minutes at that level. You're right. Like you said something a bit earlier, he's a bit young. You're right. He does need another couple of years, so maybe a couple of loan spells. But he can't go on loan until he's 18 anyway, so he's going to be with us until then. But certainly, I think Mikey Moore, he deserves a proper crack now. I think that the one that really impressed me the most was Hardy. I thought he was so composed at the back. I'm thinking, why would you have players like Danzo, who are technically not capable to play De Zerbi ball? He's a lump. He throws his body in the line. He's good in the air. But you can see today, throughout the whole game, there's two things we did non-stop. Really good pressing, and constantly played it out from the back, even when the press was on us. Hardy better suits that than what Kevin Danzo does. So I hope, that he gets into the team one day. But look, just off today's game, we're definitely going to be a pressing team that looks to play ball possession football. So although you can't quite see it now, there's no doubt in my mind we're going to play some nice football next year. We're going to, with the full team that we've got, and the way we're going to try, I think we're going to be, at least we're going to be entertained, which is what we haven't had for about 2 years.
Yeah, I know. We just need those signings in the forward line. I think once we get those signings in the forward line, if they're of a similar caliber to like what we got in midfield of Mateus Fernandes and Sandro Tonali, then we'll be all right next season. We'll be more than all right.
100%. You've got Xavi Simons coming back in December. You've got Maddison, who wasn't there today, which was a bit of a surprise. You've still got Mohamed Kudus that's going to come in on the flank. Bentancur, Bentancur can play football, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Kulu comes back. I mean, I'm not expecting him to come back, but it'll be a nice surprise if Kulu comes back and he's actually not completely screwed.
The rumours are first half of the season we'll see him at some point.
Listen, I hope so, because he at least has technical ability. Then you had a Porro going down the flanks, maybe a Spence. I hope we don't sell. By the way, what's your thoughts on Spence, Ben? Would you keep him?
I am of the opinion that I like our fullbacks right now. Spence, Porro on the right-hand side. Robertson, I don't know about, but, a doggy on the left-hand side. I would not upset the apple cart right now. I wouldn't. But I see maybe a situation brewing where maybe Spence isn't the exact profile that De Zerbi wants. And also I see maybe another situation brewing where Spence doesn't want to play a second fiddle to Porro on the right-hand side. And it's particularly after the World Cup he's just had, being like, I need to go be a main man somewhere. So if we were to sell him for big money, I can understand it. But ideally, I'd probably want him to stay.
I want Spence to stay as well. I think he would actually do well under De Zerbi, but at the same time, I think he's going to leave. I think because of what he's not going to want to play second fiddle. I think that because of that, he'll be off. I think him and Romero, I think they'll both be gone this summer.
Yeah, Romero's as good as gone, I think. But Spence, I think, there's still a question mark there. There's rumours saying he wants to leave. There's rumours saying he wants to stay. Who knows until something actually happens. So we'll have to wait and see.
Do you know, with the attacking players, I don't think we're going to sign a striker that scores 20, 25 goals. I don't think.
But who is that striker even that we can get exactly?
Yeah. So I think what we should do is try and get 50 goals from the entire attack. So 10 from Kudus, 10 from a left winger, 10 from one striker, 10 from another striker, 5 from the number 10, 5 from the other number 10. And then that way, collectively, we get the goals we need. Yeah. And then we'll get another 10 from centre-backs, wing-backs. Yeah. Bentancur will get 1, Tonali will get 1, Fernandes will get 3. So I don't think it's going to be like the old days of Klinsmann, Sheringham, Keane, Defoe, Berbatov, Kane somewhere. They get the goals. I think the goals, the way we are going to end up having to do it, is a collective group of goals.
Yeah, but even like the likes of like Solanke can get 10 goals a season. Richarlison has shown he can get 10 goals a season. There are goals there, but we just need to add a lot more right now in the forward line. There's just nowhere near enough right now. Who knows who we're going to bring in? What's your opinions on Savinho? Do you want to bring in Savinho?
Do you know what? I was all for it. I was all for it. But now I'm on the fence because not scoring goals is a massive sticking point. Like, he's got all the skill in the world. Like, he genuinely is a proper talent. He just needs to be allowed to play with freedom and not so regimented. Pep's teams are quite regimented, super drilled. Do this, do that, which isn't bad because they win trophies. But for players like Jack Grealish and Savinho, they need freedom. That's their game. And at Spurs, he will get that freedom. I just don't know if he's going to get the goals. And that's the risk with him, isn't it? That's the big risk we're going to take if we spend 60, 70 million. Whereas if you get Krupi, you know we're going to get goals.
Yeah, Krupi's difficult
10,
though,
15
man.
or 20. Yeah, but the point is, Ben, whether Krupi gets 10 goals, 15 goals, 20 goals, no one knows. You know he's going to get goals. Whereas with Savinho, we just don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm on the fence.
The thing is, I don't think it's an either-or, though, Stel. I think, you bring on Savinho and a Krupi. I don't think it should be either-or. And that's the talk of it at the moment.
Oh, no. What I'm saying is I'd sign Krupi because I know he gets goals. But would I rather another left winger that actually has goals in him?
But Krupi's not a left winger.
No, I'm talking about Savinho.
Right.
Instead of Savio would come in as the left forward, right?
Yeah. But he can play both sides equally well.
So whether he plays left or whether he plays right, I don't know if he's going to score 10 goals. I don't know if he's going to score 5 goals. Yeah. Whereas I'm confident if Krupi comes to Spurs,
no, I get that.
Minimum, he gets 10 goals, minimum. Like
I'll tell you what, on Savinho, like first season at Man City, he got like between 8 and 10 assists, something like that. So he actually pulled up good numbers that season without scoring as many goals as he would have liked. But if you look at his season before that in La Liga for Girona, he scored a lot of goals. And also assisted a lot of goals. He was, a star in La Liga that season. So I guess it's trying to get that player back.
I have these arguments all the time. What you just said is what I say. I say to people, at Girona, he was unbelievable. But you know what? Anthony was unbelievable at Ajax until he went to Man United. So is it because it's the Premier League? Is it because they were in Spain, they looked so good? And that's the risk. We don't know.
But it's also about having the right manager to get the best out of these players, you know what I mean?
Do you remember I came on the show about 3 weeks ago and I said, I've got a bit of a concern that we're buying all these players, but there's no goals. And this is going to be a waste of time if we don't buy strikers. And I said that I think Fernandes is a bit of a risk. Yeah. I think Robertson's a risk. I don't want us to take any risks with the attackers. I don't think Krupi's a risk. I think he's going to get goals. I really wanted Savio. I did a video on my channel saying sign him. But now I just think, you know what? It's too big of a risk, Ben. I just don't know if he's going to get the goals. I like him. I think he's a really, really good player. I'd rather sign someone on the left that I know is going to get us some goals. And I don't know with Savio, Ben. I just don't know. I'm on the fence.
Yeah, the thing is, like, you're looking around though at like the winger market and the striker market, and it just doesn't look great. I mean, who is there even on the market that is going to come in and get those goals that you're talking about?
Do you know what player, out of all the players I did analysis on, every season he's got better and better and better. His assists are going up. His goals are going up for club and for country. And he's an absolute baller. And if we're going to take a risk, he's the player we should take a risk on.
Go on. Who?
Noosa.
But Noosa's as well, his numbers aren't great.
They're better than Savio. And what I like about Noosa, every season he's got better. Last season he got 8 GA. He scored 9 goals in like 20 something games for Norway. He's not the finished article, but he's young. He's still got loads of development. And the good thing is he's getting better every single year. Van Heck, he's on an upward trajectory. All his stats are getting better every year. I'd rather sign a player who's on the up and has been on the up for 3-4 years in a row. So it's not like a purple patch. Like Solanke was a purple patch. He had one good season at Bournemouth, right? Let's sign him. No. Van Heck has had 4 back-to-back good seasons, constantly improving. Noose is the same. 4 good seasons, back-to-back improving. It's always a risk. But if we're going to take a risk on Noosa.
But I mean, what I would say to that, I like Noosa as a player. Don't get me wrong, I really do like Noosa as a player, and you know, I thought he shined at the World Cup at the times that I saw him play. But Savinho has actually got more goal contributions every season, more than Noosa, apart from last season. Last season he was obviously injured a lot and didn't get on the pitch as much. So I think he's out GA'd Noosa every season apart from last.
Yeah, but it's about it's about the direction of travel. Noosa, his travel is constantly upwards, and it has been for 4 years. Do you know what? There is one player, if you bring him in, he answers all these kind of problems, and that's Leao from AC Milan.
Yeah, what I heard about Leao is that apparently he wanted some crazy wages, like 450 grand a week or something crazy. He's going to end up in Saudi, I tell you.
Yeah, but can't we give him a free skywalk?
Yeah, maybe one lap, only one lap though on the F1 track, and then
tell him he can get 1 year subscription to Spurs Play and he can watch himself back every week.
That's what I was saying. Like, I would take a Leao alongside a Savinho and then a Krupi up front, and then I'd be more than happy with that.
Look, for me, Krupi's a no-brainer. That's a yes, all day long. The left winger, they've got to have goals in them. So if you sign Savio, you're hoping, right, can we have the Savio of Girona 2 years ago? Because that was goals. But we don't know if we're going to get that.
Yeah.
Or can we have Noosa, who's slowly scoring more, getting more each year? Or have you just got to go and spend the money on the wages and just get yourself a Leao or that type of a player that we know is going to get us 8 to 10 goals? Because I think goals is the priority, not assists, not crosses, it's goals, because we are lacking. You saw today, Ben, we're just lacking any attacking threat, really.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember the last time we actually had attacking threat. Like, it's been so long now, and we've been struggling to create chances, score goals. We need to sort out that forward line. That has got to be that's the only thing that we got to sort out, right? It's the only thing.
Yeah, the goalie's set, the defence is set, the midfield is set, the front three. That's the one sticking point. I think what we're going to end up doing is we're going to sign one actual goal scorer who gets like 12, 15 goals a year. We're going to take a punt on a winger, and then we're just going to go with Solanke. And I think we're going to stick with Tel Solanke and Richie. I don't think any of them are leaving Spurs.
Do you think we should have kept Lancashire?
I would take you over Richarlison, Ben. I would have you up front ahead of Richarlison. I would have me. And I can't shoot. All right, I can pass.
I can shoot, mate. I can shoot. I used to be able to shoot anyway.
That's the one thing I can't do. It was always my weakness. Every other part of the game I could play, but shooting was. I would play ahead of Richarlison. Right. So yes, if you gave me a choice of Richie or Lancashire, I'd take Lancashire.
No, that's not. It's Lancashire or a new striker. Would you have prioritised Lancashire in the squad next season over signing a new striker?
No, I'd sign a new striker, but it's got to be a proper striker, not these Solanke and Richie, purple patchy, never done anything in their life strikers. Like if Krupi or Lancashire, I'll take Krupi.
Yeah, of course. But you know, a lot of people are worried that we sold Lancashire. I mean, it was a good deal for the 20 million or whatever it was, but. I mean, I thought Lancashire should have been part of the squad this season. I thought he should have come in as our third choice striker. And we know Solanke's always injured anyway, so he would have got minutes. I think he's got talent.
I would have got rid of Richarlison or Solanke and kept Lancashire. Like, that's what I'm saying. I would have kept Lancashire but only if we're going to sell a striker, because then at least he might get some minutes. Whereas
Yeah.
if you're going to keep Solanke and you're going to keep Richarlison and you're going to sign another player, Lancashire's not going to play at all. So what's the point?
Yeah,
So
I mean, I think,
keep
you know,
him.
you sign a striker like Krupi, you have a Solanke there, sell Richarlison, bring in Lancashire as the third choice striker, and Solanke's always injured anyway, so he'll get minutes.
Listen, I'm not against it, Ben. I'm not against it. I'm happy for Lancashire to stay, but only if we sign someone that is also proven. You know, I don't want to do a season of Solanke, Ritchie, and Lancashire and just hope to God Lancashire does what Solanke and Ritchie can't do. Because then I think, because my concern is if we don't sign goal scorers, actual goal scorers, my concern is we're going to end up mid-table, having lots of possession, creating chances, but just, you know, not being able to put the ball in the back of the net, and it's going to be frustrating. So
Yeah, well,
we'll see.
All will be revealed, Stel, soon. All will be revealed, but it's good to have you back on. It's good to have Spurs back, and I'll speak to you soon, my friend.
Look after yourself. Thanks for having me on.
You too, mate. Big up, Stel. Cheers. That's it? All right. That is it from us today. We'll be back in the studio tomorrow. A lot more to talk about. And let's hope that we get some signings soon in. But yeah, good to have Spurs back. Great to see Mateus Fernandes absolutely rip one from the edge of the box, top corner. And Luca Williams-Barnett, another big plus for today. But I want to thank you all for joining us today. We'll see you all very, very soon. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.